Yeah, hello there and welcome back. And let us continue over here. And in the previous lesson, we learned how we can create a text using the Flutter as well as the Swift UI as well as the Compose on the Android side. And today we are going to learn how we can create our button using the Flutter as well as the Swift UI and also the Compose. So let us get started with it, and I'll go to my previous project that we have done, and I'll go to my screens and I'll create a new folder over here, and let's separate it with the widget over here. And inside this widget I will add a new file, and let's call this one as a custom button or something, right? So let's have a custom button.the file, and let's create the stateless, I guess. So let's create a stateless and custom button over here, and I guess it should be of a custom button. And let's import the material package over here. Let's import it, and from here, instead of returning a container, I will return a elevated button over here. So let's just return a normal elevated button, and then what I will do over here is, for this one, let's return the const of the text, and the text we will just pass in as the next or something, right? And that should be fine. And let me just arrange it properly, and let's close this one too over here. And on the unpress we can add just a normal function call, and also if you want to add a little bit of design or a style, you can just add, and maybe a elevated elevated button, right? Elevated button dot the from style. I can use it, and in this from style I can add the shape, right? So let's give us some round corner style, so shape, and with the shape I can add the const of the round, I guess round rectangle, something, a round rectangle border. And here I can ask the border radius, so let's add the border radius. So I'll just say border radius dot all, and with this I can add the radius, right? So radius dot circular, and let's give a circular of the 8. So I guess that should be fine. So I can just go to my screen over here, and this text I can just cut it out from here, and I will just use the custom button that we just created, right? And that should be fine. And I guess I need to add one closing brace parenthesis, and in the widget I'll just set a new custom that should be of a text.the file, and here we will just return the stateless. So let me move that text over here. So I'll just say custom custom text, and let's import this material widget over here, and from here I'll just return that particular text from here, and I guess that should be fine. So let me close it over here, and let's arrange this one a bit so it looks better. Okay, so once we have done with that one, I guess we can just return a const, or for now just to return a const, or maybe you can take some parameter and just add in over here, so it can maybe more reusable over here, right? So instead of just hard coding it over here, maybe you can just make use or reusable if you want. So I can just for that I can just say final, I can be a label of the, let's make it as a type, so string of the will be a label, and then we can just set it as a required this dot the label, right? label. Okay, and then here instead of this one you can just pass in like the label, label label, and you can have a const over here now, and the const can be moved it over here. Okay, so we got that, and now we have a custom button. So we need to do the same thing on our, let's go to our over here, which will be our SwiftUI demo. We are using the same previous this is our previous project that we created, and now we have a text UI. So let's create a new one from here. So I'll just create a new file and select the SwiftUI from here and just click on next, and this one I'll just give it as CUS2 custom button or something, right? So maybe you can just give a button view, or let's make it as just a button view over here, and then just click on create. That should create a new file for us. And once we are done with that one, with this button text, I can remove this because here we need to create a button. So let's create a button over here, and then that should be fine. So let's take this one, button with the action and the label. So let us create over here. So now this is a button. Here you can write your code to the execute over here, like your unclick listener over here, and then in the label we need to provide the sum of the text. So currently we don't have anything over here, so let's create a text over here, and with this text button text, let's give a text of something like a next. That is what we are using. So now you can get some text over here, and with the text we can add some of the customization like color, size, and all of those stuff, right? So maybe we can just set the size for this one. So font, let's give it as a font font font, and with the font I can just say that the system, and then the font system dot the size I will use over here. Size is of, let's give it as a 18 over here. And once we are done with the size, I need a color. So for that one, background, I guess a background, and in the background I'll use a color. So color, let's give it something like a red or pink or something. So just give a pink color. So you can see a small color over there, but it doesn't look good over here. So I guess I will add us one more properties over here. So let's add some modifier. So actually we call this one as a modifier. So I'll just as a frame and just give a size over here of the width first of all, maybe a 220 or something, and then the height it will give something like a 50 or 40. And let me arrange this one a little bit bigger. So now we get a little bit better looking of that particular button, right? And then here we can also add the change of that particular text color. So I'll use a foreground color, and in the foreground color I'll use a color dot the white, right? And you can see now we get a little bit better looking button over here. And then we can also customize this particular corner, since we have done it on the our Flutter side, right? So I can just say a corner radius of, I'll just give us 8, and now you can see it looks much better over here, right? And now on the text you can call some function, or just write a print statement over here, and we say button, so let's clicked or something, right? And then this is the button. You can see we created a simple button, and then later we can, if you want to pass it to our over here, and instead of running this text we can run the button. What was that? Our one was the button view, right? So we can just run this button view instead of our text view. So that's cool. So we have created our button view over here. The next is we need to do the same thing on our Android side. So let's create some kind of similar button. on our Android side. So let's open up the Android Studio, and I'll be using the same project that we had previously used on our previous lecture where we created a text over here. So let's create a function, and I'll just add a composable function, and let's create a function of, let's say, a custom button or something, right? So button button, and here we'll take a parameter so it will be much more reusable. So I'll just take it as a label, and that is of the string type. And here we will just go and create our button over here. So let's create a button, and we get the unclick listener over here. That's fine, and let us arrange it properly. And here we get a row scope, and inside this row scope let us add a button text, and that text will be of the label that we will be getting, the label that we are passing over here. And here in the button you can just call some function, right? And what we'll do next is in the preview, if you want to show, what we can do is you can just pass in this function call from here. So let's just pass that function call, and over here you can just pass in some text as next, and you can actually rebuild this one to get a view over here instead of running in your actual application. And then on the button we have a label. You can see we get that particular button over here. And if you want to do some customization, you can also do like the color, right? And also the corner radius and all of those stuff over here. And also I guess we can move this one to another composable, and let me remove this one, and I'll just copy and paste it over here and create a new one, this one as a custom text. So we have this text. I can just move in over here, and instead of using this one as hard-coded, I can just set it as a label to make it more reusable, right? And then in the home screen I can now either pass in this one, or I can pass in the custom text. So from here I can just pass in the custom button, and the label I can just pass in the next over here. And then in the set content we still have the home screen over here. And I guess other than that, maybe we can customize something over here. Maybe we can change the color of that one, right? So let's go over here, and we have a modifier of the colors, and this color I guess we can use a button defaults. I guess that one is the one, and then I can set the button colors, and this should have some properties that we can modify. So you can see the background color, content color, disable color. So let's just change the background color first of all. So a color colors dot the I guess why it is not coming on color, I guess it's not the colors dot the do we have some pink color? So I guess we don't get that pink color over here. And then I guess I'll just use this some color from here, maybe a red one, and that should be the one. So if I just refresh it over here, let's see how it look like. And you can see it look quite different. And then the text color, you can also change it from here, like it should be of a content color. And with this content color you can just keep the color dot, you can just keep the white, right? I guess there is a white. And let me arrange this one a bit over here so we don't have to scroll up and down. And once we are done with this one, maybe we can set, I guess let's try to refresh it, and that look good. And next thing also you can do, like you can maybe use a modifier over here, modi modifier, right? So I guess I can't find that modifier over here. So it should be somewhere here. I guess I can use a modifier over here. Okay, so once we got that modifier, we can use the modifier dot, I can use something like a clip, and then round, I guess a round, round corner shape. I guess I can use a round corner shape, and here I can just pass in the radius or the percentage over here to make the corner of that particular side over here. And like if you want to pass in the more, then you can just pass in over here. Like if you want to make it a more, like let's see, if I pass in 50, you can see it becomes more rounder, right? But I guess 4 or 8 is good enough for us, I guess, right? So if you want to modify more, then you can just go and modify it over here. So I guess that's also, now we have created our widget on the Flutter, which is of the custom button, and also we have created our composable, which is of the custom button over here. And also we have done the same thing with our, where is that one, so here, right, with the SwiftUI. So we can just run this project and let's see how it look like. And you can see here it goes. When we run it from our VS Code for the Flutter project, you'll get a one small button, right? It does anything over here. So this is from the VS Code, and let's try to run this one from our SwiftUI project. So let's try to run this one, and you can see you get a nice looking button over here, and when you click on it, says that the button clicked over here. That is coming from that particular the click callback over here that we have implemented. So that's look cool. So the next step is to run our project on our Android side. Open up our VS Code, and what we can do is you can just click on this run button from here, or select a new device. That should be fine, I guess. And let's run the device first of all. So we haven't run our illumination, so let's open up that first. And here you can see that it is there, but it doesn't look that well, right? So you can see it's not that good. So maybe we can add some more properties over here, like I guess I can add some properties like the padding, and padding maybe I can just say as it.ddp. And let's import that dp. I need to import that one. And once you have that padding, maybe you can also add something different. So I guess let's add the padding first of all, and let's try to rerun this one, and it look a bit better. So maybe you can also add or give a width or something for that one, and that should be, let's say dot the width. I guess there is a width modifier, and in the width maybe we can just give a 220 dot the dp, right? And let's rerun this one. And okay, so now we get a little bit better looking over here. And I guess that's all for this lesson. It's quite long already. So we created a different button using the composable, and as well as the SwiftUI and the Flutter. So you learn three things, three different kind of the UI development on the same video. That's great, right? So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.